It's fascinating how the saying goes, history doesn't necessarily repeat, but sometimes it rhymes. Thank you for that analysis. It's incredible. And you mentioned on January 6th, for instance, people receiving disproportionate punishments to what they actually supposedly did. Enrique Tarrio is one of those people. He's the former leader of the Proud Boys. He's the one possibly facing a 33-year jail sentence for supposedly leading this attempt to invade the Capitol. But he wasn't actually in DC on January 6th. And to put that in perspective, Epstein offsider Ghislaine Maxwell only received a 20-year jail sentence, and she's literally a human trafficker of children. Jack, do Democrats hate Trump supporters more than they hate human traffickers?
Well, I think they're certainly threatened more. They feel threatened more. And so they have this a more visceral reaction to a Trump supporter or somebody like Enrique Tarrio than they would to an actual pedophile, an actual child trafficker. And in fact, here in the United States, I don't know if it's hit Australia yet, but we've had a film called The Sound of Freedom.
Yes.
It's been released in the United States. It's done absolutely incredible numbers, beating all of the odds. It beat Indiana Jones at the domestic box office. It beat Mission Impossible at the domestic box office. It's beating Disney movies. It's beating some of the biggest studios. This is an independent film from Angel Studios, the same studios that does The Chosen. And its subject matter is child trafficking. It is telling a true story that happened to a man by the name of Tim Ballard and his own life story and experiences that he went through, and essentially putting that to screen. Of course, they take artistic liberties here and there, and time frame, etc. They've made a movie out of it, but by and large, it is a true story. And the entire media, the entire left has done everything they can to attack this film, to demonize this film, to smear participants of the film, to smear anyone who would be willing to support the film. And it's the very first film that's ever been made in the United States or anywhere I can see at this level that's directly focused on the issue of child sex trafficking. Now, I know that this past weekend, they first did some limited international release of the film to the Middle East, and it then goes to the Latin America, South America, and most of the movie actually takes place in Latin America, South America, Honduras, and Colombia, and hopefully Australia will be getting it soon as well. I
haven't seen it yet, but I'm so keen to see it, and it is amazing, like the criticism it received, as you said. And then remember, this is the same mainstream media that venerated and defended that film Cuties, the French film that was on Netflix, which had 11-year-olds in it twerking. And remember, they auditioned that movie for 6 months. So the directors sat there and watched 6 months worth of little girls doing sexualized dances in front of them in order to cast this movie. And then the movie came on, and the mainstream media defended it, but they're criticizing Sound of Freedom. I mean, it's unbelievably telling. Now, I would love to have a chat about Trump's so-called competition for the 2024 nomination. I say competition very loosely because, as you've mentioned, Trump is so far ahead of the pack when it comes to the polls. Now, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis...
Oh, by the way.
Oh, yes.
I've just seen August 24th. I looked it up. It will be out in Australia on August 24th.
Oh, phenomenal. Okay, fantastic. I have to get my tickets booked. I'm so looking forward to seeing it. And yes, Ron DeSantis, as we know, he was initially seen as Trump's biggest competitor. That hasn't panned out, as his popularity has continued to fall. And more recently, DeSantis has started attacking Trump voters. He called them listless vessels. Let's contrast this, for example, to Donald Trump, who, yes, he attacks people who attack him, but I don't recall him ever having a Hillary Clinton basket of deplorables moment or a Ron DeSantis listless vessels moment. From my memory, he's never actually attacked the Democrat voter base. Don't you think it's a shame that that fact doesn't get more attention?
I think it's very nuanced and insightful that you bring that up. In fact, most people miss that because Donald Trump, for all of his warts and all, his foibles and his achievements, he's a salesman. He's first and foremost a salesman. This is the main thing that he knows, the main thing he's able to do. And for all of his years, 30 plus years in business, he knew that in order to affect sales in order to have anyone purchase whatever it was that he was selling, whether it's real estate or whether it was one of his other businesses, whether when he became into entertainment and getting people to watch his TV show. He knew that you can't attack a portion of your potential audience. You can't attack someone that you are trying to win over. You can't impugn and mock and insult and scold someone that you want to eventually win over. And so, yes, this is a marketing strategy. Yes, it's a political strategy. It's also a personal strategy. Go read, Dale Carnegie and How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's just like chapter 1 of some of just these basic sales techniques, because they're also people techniques. And so this is exactly right. He certainly, and with great
aplomb,
with great fervor, will attack his opponents, and will attack his rivals, and will attack anyone standing in his way or someone who's unwilling to see his way on something. But